Thank you. Please give a round of applause for her presentation. Thank you for Garuthai for expertly framing the large-scale policy challenges of education disparity. Should you have any question regarding to any presentations, you can raise your hand. I hope you already get the papers that our team members already provide. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and ask for our members to collect them, and we do the Q&A later at the concluding session. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the expertly framing the large-scale policy challenges on educational disparity. Our next presentation brings us from the national perspective right into the university classroom to tackle a core component of student success motivation. Please welcome Wanrudi Kaeomisi from University of Payao. Her presentation, a flow theory approach to learning motivation. Thank you. Please give her a round of applause, please.
Thank you, Chairman, to kindly introduce me. Good afternoon, distinguished participants and fellow educators. My name is Waludi Kaeomisi. I'm honored to present today with a topic of a four-theory approach to learning motivation among students with valid academic backgrounds. I'm going to walk you through the 5 sections. The first start with introduction and research objective. Secondly, the literature review and research hypothesis, followed by the proposed model and research methodology, and I will share you our key findings and conclude with a discussion and recommendation and final. As educators, we find that student course selection doesn't always align with their academic interests. Many students select the course due to program requirements, social interactions, or future career assumption, not intrinsic motivation. That's why we try to investigate the key findings, key factors that they use to select the course to relate to the science and technology subjects. As our data in the first semester of 2024, we have 48% students from non-science and technology programs and other 52% students from science and technology programs. Here is student expression. As the past experience, when they study in the subject that relate to science and technology, they feel like overwhelmed by too many scientific concepts at once. The content is too abstract and hard to relate to their real life, and also the science teacher too many information heavy and not interactive. As resulted in they don't feel confident enough to keep up with others during the class. This statement reflects their emotion and cognitive disengagement when they study in the subject that relate to science and technology. In this study, we aim to investigate the learning behavior of students with the various levels of prior knowledge using content marketing strategy or CMS and flow theory. In the polymer recycling at the elective course, we asked ourselves with 2 research questions. The first is, how does the combining CMS and flow theory influence student learning motivation and engagement? And the second is, how can this approach to inform the instructional development for diverse learners in science and technology-related subjects? We identify 6 key dimensions that contribute student flow experience, consist of flow, entertainment, social interaction, endorsement, attitude, and perceived value. These are all important indicators of student intention when they study in this subject, like polymer recycling for our subject. In the part of business, content marketing is typically used, but we conduct this idea into subject into our approach. As the policy study is about crafting valuable content that attracts and retains the audience, as our case, students. As we know that if we provide the student with the effective content, it will be high potential to strengthen the student with perceived value, positive attitude, and foster deeper levels of engagement. I'm going to talk about flow theory. Flow is a psychological state that the individual are deeply and focused with the state of flow. Students in a flow state exhibit intense focus, enjoyment, and out-of-time perception, often described as being in the zone. When the students are being in the zone, they will be promoted deeper learning and strengthened intrinsic motivation to persist in academic engagement. Therefore, we established two following hypotheses, H1A and H12, to describe the relationship between flow and student attitudes and perceived value towards the student intention in this course. Entertainment. Entertainment is a factor that refers to student enjoyment and positive emotion experience. When we design the activity with fun and relaxation, it will enhance the student's emotion and also the student intention in this course. We have two hypotheses that describe about the relationship between entertainment and student attitude and perceived value towards the student intention. The third construct is social interaction. As the Herd study, when we allow the student in the peer groups, peers learning activity, they are more likely to construct with the knowledge and feel a sense of belonging. Sorry. When we study with their friends, they will feel happy and can share together, can share the intention and also learning experience with them. So we have two hypotheses to stress the social interaction positively influence the student attitude and perceived value toward the intention in this course. About the endorsement, this construct I have to describe for both sides. In the marketing side, they always use symbolic or credible people to promote the products and service. While in the academic side, we have senior students or educators can enhance student engagement and intention to participate. So we have stressed two hypotheses about the relationship between endorsement and student attitude and perceived value towards the intention in this course. Attitude. We start the study of accents. He describes about attitude. Attitude significantly influence the student willingness to participate and remain engaged in class. And also it is shaped by these factors, cognitive, affective, and also behavioral components. So we have the fifth hypothesis to describe the positively relationship between student attitudes and their intention to engage in this course. Perceived value. Perceived value, when when we provide the class and the student can be get the content in the class, they will be met their academic or professional goals, and it will be lead to higher satisfaction, engagement, and a stronger intention to continue learning. So we have the 6 hypotheses to describe about the relationship between student perceived value and their intention to engage in this course. This step performed in the study. We study and start the framework in the first semester in polymer recycling with 44 enrolled students. Mixed method and classroom activity are used to evaluate the student intention in this course. We start the framework with the pre-class insights. Here are the students' expression and reflection before we start the class. We use this information to design learning experience with flow and CMS or content marketing strategy to evaluate their intention. During the class, we observe the student intention, expectation, and this helps us to know their expectation, and we can decide the activity to match their needs. In our classroom activity, the student can share learning intention and also expectation. And this helps us to boost themselves with self-awareness and engagement. Both key are important to sustain the motivation of them. This is a motivation model. The model is constructed with the factor that you can see on the board. It's hypothesized with the direct and indirect effects of student intention. We also have the research tool. This research tool structured with the question items with the 5-point Likert scale. Before we use for collect the data from the student opinions, we already measure the validity of this research tool using 3 experts using SEM follow the suggestions of HARE. In the data analysis, these are involved with the descriptive statistics and inference statistics analysis. You can see that these criteria factor like CFA through the HTMT. All these factors can be confirmed that our study clearly show the independent relationship between the construct that we use to build the research framework. And also, after the analysis, we can see the significant support for the hypothesis part like H1A, H1B, HT, HGA and also H5 and H6. This hypothesis supports our research approach. Our model are fit with the SRMR and NFI values because these factors are fit with the criteria benchmarks. Therefore, the model is appropriately specified and no further modified are required. Here is the conclusion. We can conclude that the frameworks or motivation model modified with CMS and flow theory can be used in this subject to modify the student behavior and their intention. And also, across their reflection, we know that they appreciate the activity with fun. And also, if we allow them to participate with the hands-on experience activity, it will be spark the curiosity and their intention in this course. However, we also have the limitation because we use the approach for the small size group and also for only one semester. So that's why in the near future, we use this approach for larger sample size and improve its effective over time. Thank you so much. Question
Thank you,
or
Kun
comments?
Wanridi. And now
You're
let's hear
welcome.
from our expert.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your insightful presentation. As I to reflect your presentation in your paper. First, I think I like your design. You combine the on-site and online instructional methods, and in the course polymer recycling, that is elective course, right?
Yes.
And before the student study this subject, they have to train in the short course training, title, creative graphic, and article generation with generative AI.
Yes.
This is very useful for students to
Yes.
prepare them before they study in the class.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. And the second is about the potential application of your research. First, I think is the instructional design for diverse learner. It's offer a model for the designing engaging learning experience that accommodates students with variety, like a very academic background, especially in the interdisciplinary or elective course. But in the future, you can apply this technique or this methodology to other subject or other course.
Yes,
Okay.
right.
And the second, the application in cross-disciplinary STEM education, particularly useful for science and technology course. But in the future, maybe you can attract students from non-STEM fields such as general education or other subject.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. And third, the guideline for enhancing student motivation. You show that it provides evidence-based strategy that instructor can use to reduce student anxiety and foster intrinsic motivation using content marketing and flow principle. It is hardly to see combined with the content marketing and flow principle together, right? And the last one, the input for intelligent course recommendation system. The finding can inform system that match students with suitable courses based on learning preference, motivation, and perceived value. One thing that I would like to tell you about the recommendation for the further development, you can apply the model to other subjects. And second, include a control group of comparative analysis to better establish causal effect of the content marketing and flow-based instructional strategy. And the last one, to personalize learning pathway and dynamically adjust instructional content based on learner background and engagement level. Okay, thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Actually, your research is interesting, and I would love to see it in a variety of subjects, areas, or contexts across academic disciplines, maybe like academic levels. You are doing it in the undergraduate. Is that correct?
No, I mean, students are in university.
Yeah, undergraduate.
All right, yes.
I would recommend like online learning to have the platform like massive open online courses for the students to prepare in advance, and also with the self-paced learning that you could collect, and instead of spending times in classrooms, you could assign them to learn on their own, like flipped classroom, additional materials. And I would love to see it if this could be repeat across disciplines and a little longer period of time instead of just one semester. And the rest, I think we could carry on in the quick Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanking for our expert and a very constructive feedback for the research to improve on further research. Thank you. And next, because Kun Wanrudi just showed us one of the powerful ways to foster engagement. This leads us perfectly to our next topic, which addresses one of the most persistent educational challenges in Thailand, creating engaging and equitable learning for English. I am pleased to introduce independent researcher Ruth Toronel. Her presentation proposes a framework for equitable English education in Thailand, an innovative model that integrates teacher-led learning, AI tools, and sustainable social enterprise approach to make quality English education accessible to all. Please welcome Ruth Toronel.
So I need to pass or scroll? Okay.
Okay. Hello. Okay. So hello everyone. I'm Ruth Tronei, an educator and social entrepreneur, passionate among other things about using English education as a tool for opportunity, inclusion, and social mobility. Together with my co-researcher, Panatol Macapan, we develop a framework that helps blend teacher-led learning, AI tools, and social enterprise principles, all grounded in the realities of Thai context. Wait. Yes, here. This work is grounded in practice and driven by purpose, informed both by local and global experience, from teaching in Thailand in schools and universities, public sector and private and international schools, to participating in global initiatives like the United Nations Graduate Study Program. I've seen the full spectrum of what works and what doesn't. I spent the last years teaching in Thailand in schools and universities, and I've seen firsthand the challenges and strengths of the system. My co-researcher is Thai, so this framework is not coming from an outsider lens, a falang, how they will call here, but from a shared effort rooted in real experience, local insights, and a deep potential of Thai learners. Okay, here. The problem is clear. Thailand consistently ranks among the lowest in Asia in English proficiency. Why? Because high quality instructions is expensive. The curriculum is often focused on grammar over real communication, and innovation doesn't reach the majority. We are not just talking about test scores. We are talking about lost confidence, missed opportunities, and entire futures shaped by unequal access. Thailand ranks 106 out of 113 countries in the world, and it's not a lack of funding. Research outcomes. We set out to identify real barriers learners face, especially among low-income and rural contexts, which is the majority. We studied best practices in blended learning globally and explored what's actually adaptable to Thai context. Then we designed a blend framework, not just from theory, but the real implementation in mind. And we looked at how this could work within schools, communities, and even policies. What emerged is a three-part model that reflects the reality of how people learn. Structured teacher-led instructions, adaptive AI practice, and peer-led speaking clubs. These components are not just isolated, they are designed to reinforce each other. So here you can see the three, the teacher-led classes, the AI practice, and the peer speaking. Three integrated components for equitable blended learning. So the components, the first, teacher-led instructions. This is the foundation. It provides structure, emotional connection, and the human presence that motivates learning. It also allows for differentiated instructions and real-time feedback, which is option missing in Thai classrooms. As you know, most of Thai classrooms, they go between 30 and 15 students per class. This is where, relationships meets pedagogy, and that's irreplaceable. The second component is AI. Adaptive AI-based practice. This is how we make high-quality learning more scalable, more personalized, and more flexible. Not everyone, 50 students in the class, they all don't have the same English level. And AI helps personalize the learning to the student. Learners can practice on demand, and the system adapts to their level. It's like giving every student their own tutor, but without paying for it. It's not about replacing teachers. It's about amplifying them, keeping them at the core. The third one, and who is Thai or who has worked in Thailand knows perfectly the importance of speaking. These are powerful because they create low-pressure environments to practice speaking. They build confidence. They reduce fear of making mistakes. That's so easy to say, but if you're Thai, or again, if you have worked here, how complicated it is to take the stigma off the fear of making mistakes. And encourage students to support one another. It's grounded in a theory where it says that we learn best when we learn together, especially through social interactions. Because language is not just learning, it's lived, and speaking with peers makes that possible. This is just more than a method or a platform. What we offered is a system-based alternative, a way to rethink English education in a way that is scalable, sustainable, and human-centered. Traditional reforms often move too slow. Thailand is going down and down and down in the English proficiency. Donor-funded projects tend to go and come. And while the private sector can move fast, it's often prioritizes profits over people. Unintentionally, we don't know. But that widens inequality. So what's the alternative? Social enterprise. Social enterprises live in the space between the public and the private, using the tools and mindset of business, but guided by purpose and equity, people. It asks us to think differently, where we invest our money, and energy determines the kind of system we build. When we invest in people, not just products, we build solutions that last, not just charity. That's why our model is not just educational, it's entrepreneurial. Because ultimately, equity should not be the side effect of innovation. It must be the starting point. It's not enough for a solution to be clever, smart. It must be fair, inclusive, and accessible. We tested this model with 50 Thai secondary students using our prototype platform called Lumo. We combined teacher-led instructions, AI practice, and speaking clubs. The results, students felt more confident, less afraid of doing mistakes, and more engaged. Here is what students said. The AI helped me feel less shy. Now I actually enjoy practicing English. And to us, that's the biggest success. Because when students feel seen, supported, and safe to learn, everything changes. So what's next? We are looking to expand the pilot into more schools, rural and urban, public and private, to cooperate together. We want to improve the technology based on user feedback, build stronger partnerships, and most importantly, tackle the real problem. English proficiency in Thailand is a real problem. Okay. We are currently seeking partnership to pilot the framework in diverse school settings, collaborate on research or evaluation, support community-rooted, scalable implementations, because we believe the real transformation happens when we invest not just in ideas, but in systems that serve people, not just profits. Thank you so much for listening. If any of these resonates with your work, wherever it is in policy, teaching, tech, or research, I would love to connect, and let's keep building something meaningful together. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, Ruth Thoronil. Now let's hear from our experts, from the feedback.
Thank you. And you are Toronto? Is that correct way to
Yeah.
say your name?
Yes.
Because according to your research,
Yes.
of course, Thailand has lowest among all with the English proficiency in either the result of inapplicable of teaching materials and instructional strategy. I would have to agree that English language and Thai students always have bittersweet relationship. And it's interesting how and why English teaching and learning can never be successful as in other countries, among all the ASEAN countries, and vice versa. With the research methodology, you frame it with Thai instructors and some Thai students. And the conclusion was that if teachers can invent an innovation like AI or mobile applications, could help out with the English learning. And also, I would love to see how we could successfully build a bridge between theory and knowledge into practices and improve skills. Of course, AI is a key tool to improve language barriers, but how could we sustain such abilities, and whether or not it would widen the gap between people with and without AI accessibilities, and of course, the mobile learning as well. And those are one of the questions that raise my eyebrows. Of course, the policy recommendation that if we wanted to improve English to all levels, how could we sustain them? How would we encourage Thai people to speak, use without fears nor anxiety? And with the suggestion that you mentioned, amplifying teachers' abilities, instructional that integrate AI across platform and social integration. Now it's come to another question to myself. After hearing your data and compare findings with the first presenter, who's a high schooler, and her English skill and presentation was beyond bar. So whether or not your research methodology and the scope of the sampling size is too soon and too narrow to make an assumption in specific areas. And I think I'm going to pass on to my next expert so she could make another recommendation. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. For your research methodology, you have 4 steps of a phase. For the first phase, you interview and have a focus group for the 12 Thai teacher and 15 students. And maybe some the audience will have some question for you. And for the phase 3, you the pilot, the prototype development and initiate the testing. The pilot will involve 30 and 50 Thai learner and 5 and 10 educator. What you finding? What is the finding from the phase 1 and phase 3? And this is you can apply to another group of Thai people, another group of students, another group of the teacher. Okay, for the implication for the practice, I think I would like to say that is for your research it can promote flexible and participatory learning, but you have to give more example from your research. And the second one, your research will show the support education-focused social enterprise development by embedding sustainability and equity into the model, and the framework offer a foundation for affordable, scalable English learning initiative that can be locally driven. And for the recommendation for the further development, first, I would like to say that you can develop tailored assessment too. You have to have assessment that you will know the weakness or the strength of you too. And the second, you should explore cross-sector partnership for scale up. It means that cooperate with maybe the ministry and the NGO or edtech firm to expand implementation and ensure alignment with national policy goals. And the last one, you should conduct longitudinal research on learning impact, study long-term effect on language proficiency, learner autonomy, or other that's a factor to improve English proficiency. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for our experts' feedback and questions. I am sure the researcher can use that to deepen the study further to improve English proficiency in Thailand. Thank you for Ruth Thorunel once again. And I think should you have any question, until now you can give the paper to our staff member, and then we can further discuss at the end of this session. Okay. Thank you once again for Ruth Thorunel for the presentation and the powerful tech integrated model for achieving equity in Thailand. Our next speaker, Rakim Sami, will broaden our perspective by taking us to the Philippines to examine another profound issue of educational equity, the integration of Madrasah graduates. Please welcome Rakim Sami from Universitas Islam International, Indonesia, who will present this research on the challenges and opportunities for Madrasah graduates, analyzing the critical policy reforms needed to bridge systematic gaps in education and employment. Please welcome Rakim Sami.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and to our esteemed panelists. I would like to extend my gratitude for the staff and organizer of this conference for having me, giving me an opportunity to present the Madrasah education status, particularly in the southern part of the Philippines, which is the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So allow me to present to you my paper entitled Challenges and Opportunities for Madrasah Graduates, Education and Employment Policies from Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao in the Philippines. So let me bring you about the education status of the Madrasah education in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. So we all know that, for your information, that Philippines was conquered by, colonized rather. It's not. It's colonized by previous, what is that? We call it like Spanish and American colonizations. So with that kind of status, the Madrasah education in the Philippines have faced a long-standing marginalizations. So they could not have any development or any recognition from the mainstream education of the Philippines. So traditional madrasas operates outside the national education system, or we call it also the secular education system of the national government of the Philippines. In 1973, the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao was established by the collaboration of the Muslim Filipinos in the southern part and then the national government of the Philippines. So they established Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao to address the needs of the Muslim Filipinos in the countries. Unfortunately, this kind of autonomy has limited opportunity to recognize the culture and the value of madrasa education of the Muslim Filipinos. While in 2019, after the ratification of the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, they changed the autonomy into called Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. With that, this kind of autonomy, the establishment of a new autonomy, they wish or they aim to address the providing initiative reforms to recognition of the madrasa education, and then providing employment for the graduates, and of course integrating the madrasa education system to the mainstream education of the Philippines. This kind of innovation or policy development, they wish to address the inequity, so providing a focus on equity, inclusion of madrasa education, and empowering the Muslim Filipinos in the country. With the kind of introductions that I provided to you, and then upon reading so many articles, this research was designed with 3 research questions. First is, how has the transition of the previous government to current government impacted the recognition and integration of madrasa education into the mainstream national education system? Second, what could be the challenges do madrasa graduates still existing that face in accessing higher education and job opportunities under this new government? And lastly, what could be the opportunities and support mechanism that the sitting government provided to introduce and to address the challenges and promote equitable educational outcomes for their graduates? With that research questions, I designed a 3 research objectives as well, that is to examine the policy, the current policies, or the changes in the policy and reforms implemented by the new government to recognize and integrate the madrasa education system into the formal or national education, mainstream education. Second, I identified the madrasa graduates' barriers in pursuing higher education and employment opportunities within the region or as a whole in the country of the Philippines. And lastly, I would like to explore the initiatives and programs that has been done by the sitting government and will continuously be done by this new government to address and support the madrasa education and madrasa graduates in achieving equitable access to higher education and providing more job opportunities for them. So with the research frameworks, I use theoretical framework, and of course, as suggested during the blind review, I also provided a conceptual framework. The conceptual framework will be looking into the transition from the previous government to the current government, the policy reforms and institutional supports for traditional madrasas. So there is a previous program that has the challenges faced, including the curriculum gaps, no recognition for the madrasa education system. There is a limited access to higher education and job opportunities for the graduates. Upon the intervention of the new government, there is a provided scholarship, ISL training, or we call it Islamic Studies and Arabic Language training, permit to operate system to recognize the operating madrasas in the region, and of course, providing a curriculum integration or the implementation of the Islamic Studies and Arabic language into secular public schools. So with that, I will provide the outcomes for the graduates using the capability and critical pedagogies. So my method, since I was using a qualitative method in phenomenological case study because this kind of study is currently happening. And then for the data collection, I use narrative interviews through online because I was currently in Indonesia during that time, and also a policy document analysis. And I used to purposely select the participants, including the employed and unemployed participants from the madrasa, and then there is also a current student and also a policy implementers or policy officers. And of course, for the data analysis, I used thematic and triangulate the data with both documents and with the interviews with different participants. So here is the result. First, there is a increase in institutional supports under the new government. But still there is a limited recognition and certification issues. Although there is also an academic credentials and qualifications. So all of these are the results and the theme that had appeared upon the analysis. So let me bring to you to distribute it. First is upon the establishment of the new government or the sitting government provided an increased institutional support for the madrasa education system. So they established the establishment of the Directorate General for Madaris Education Office, integrating through ISAL or the Islamic Studies in Arabic language in secular public schools and providing new policy directions. So in 2024, the sitting government also prepared this kind of bill. The Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao provided a bill 6 to establish the first Islamic higher education institution that is recognized by the Philippine government. So the bill was proposed in 2023, and then the school is now currently operating last year in 2024. So they also provide the support for madrasa graduates by hiring Islamic Studies and Arabic language teachers, particularly in public schools, to access job opportunities, and then provided an assistance for the those madrasa that is recognized by the government by providing assistance or support, like how the secular public schools receiving a funding or support from the national government. However, there were still existing problems such as limited recognition and certification issues because some madrasas facing challenges, particularly in providing the requirements that is set by the national and the regional government to have the recognition. So those madrasas that is far from the cities, they have problems to access the government recognition, and therefore they could not have the support and funding from the government. In addition to that, there is in academic credentials and qualification gaps. That is because the national education system, or the madrasa education has no formal high school diploma, or we call it, they don't have the qualification to pursue higher education, especially in the national education system. There is also unemployment discrimination and sector limitations because of their educational background. Madrasa graduates has a limited access, particularly into the government offices, so they could only have like teaching in traditional madrasas or teaching. Now they can teach in public schools, but still a limited job opportunities for the graduates because they have madrasa graduates are now rising in numbers. And then for the opportunities, there is an ISAL or Islamic Studies in Arabic language provided and teachers training program. So like this one, they provided a launching of subsidy for providing a assistance for the recognized madrasa. There is an also ongoing policy reforms with the, however, it is limited in reach. Ongoing policy reforms is that currently the Director General for Madaris Education is collaborating with Indonesia and Malaysia to provide quality education, especially in madrasa. So they collaborate in other countries, not just only in national education system, but they collaborate with other countries. And then, of course, they provided the scholarships. However, there is still a gaps and, of course, a financial constraints. To sum up, in the current government sitting, there is an opportunities, including the ISAL integration into the mainstream education system, providing a permit to operate subsidies for madrasas, cultural respect and recognition for the Muslim Filipinos. However, there is a persisting challenges, including the curriculum repetitions and then the lack of providing STEM curriculum into the madrasa education system. There is also bureaucratic challenges for madrasa to access government fundings and then limited job opportunities beyond religious roles. So for the analysis, in current government sitting, there is a reforms, a turning point. The reform marks a turning point for madrasa education to be recognized. There is a real progress in recognition and employment, but deep-rooted structural issues is still persisting. The graduates still face challenges without fully modernized curriculum or wide access job, and inclusive and cultural grounded policies are key to sustainable reform. So I recommend that the government of the Philippines and the current sitting government to simplify the recognition for the madrasa and then provide a standard curriculum including the STEM and the ICT to the curriculum of traditional madrasa, providing an increase for teachers training and professional development, and of course allocating a job opportunities, not just only for teaching or religious roles for the madrasa, and lastly is sustain scholarships and subsidies for their madrasa graduates. I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Rakim, now I might have to interrupt for your coffee time. Okay, and then please have some feedback from our experts. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your insightful presentation. I have learned a new thing from your articles, and your article was enjoyable to read for me. For the new thing that I learned, that is about the Muslim Filipino. I just realized that There is some Muslim in Philippines. Even I have been there many times. Yeah. And the second thing, I just know about the Madrasah education program. Yeah. And you try to propose the policy, yeah, to develop the education for the Muslim people, right? Yeah, it's really good. And for me, I just know about the ARMM, Autonomous Region in Muslim in Mindanao, right? And it's transformed to BARMM, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, and it's transfer, right? But the education have to adjust for the to fit the real situation now. And okay, the Madrasah is the private school for the Muslim, right? Okay, and for the implication for practices. For your study, I think this study offers critical insight into the structural and systematic challenge faced by Madrasah graduates. Is useful for developing inclusive and contextually relevant education policy because the education policy sometimes is like the same in everywhere, but in your case study, it should relevant to the community for the Muslim Filipino. And the second, the finding can be used to model curriculum reform that balance religious instruction with modern skill and general education, enhancing both employability and identity preservation. And the third is this research inform the policymaker and the institution on how programs like ISAL and PTO and skill training can expand job opportunity and reduce economic marginalization. So I have to, after read your paper, I have to write the comment because we both have only 5 minutes for each paper. If I don't write my comment, I have to take time. And the fourth, the study serves as a baseline for evaluating the effectiveness of educational reform under BARMM government, especially concerning graduate outcome to education and employment. For the I think recommendation for the further development, I think your research is should conduct comparative study with other Islamic education model. Maybe you already do the research like this. For instance, benchmarking against Indonesia and Malaysia, it could provide lesson on integrating religious education with model academic and professional pathway. And the second thing is the further study should involve policymaker, because in your paper you collect data from the student and from the graduate only, right? For the further study should involve policymaker, educator, parents, and community leaders to ensure that reform are socially embedded and contextually appropriate. And the last thing, I think you should develop standardized evaluation tool for the Madrasah. Tool for assessment quality and issuing permit could reduce administrative barrier and ensure educational accountability, particularly for traditional institutions. Okay, thank you.
Firstly, I have to thank you for flying all the way from Philippines to Thailand to present a wonderful presentation. I would love to see how the STEM education intertwine into religious study. Maybe in the future you might have explored that, and whether the religious study could pass a bar to equate the mindset and change inclusion within the Philippines and educational context. And lastly, what the result of your study could be applied in southern Thailand, where we have a lot of Muslim students and also religious studies, which way would lead to successful career transitions. That would be the recommendations and the maybe future implications for your study. Thank you.
Thank you, our experts, and thank you, Rakim. Thank you once again. From Rakim's research, I think it highlights the deep challenges in curriculum and credential recognition. To enact and measure the success of such large-scale reforms, we need reliable assessment tools. This brings us to our next presentation from Parvinder Singh Amar Singh of Simeo Rexam, Malaysia. He will detail the development and validating an instrument to measure CER, modeling and 3D learnings. I think it's a crucial tool for assessing how STEM educators implement modern inquiry-based pedagogies. Please, Mr. Parvinder Singh Amar Singh to stand. Thank you.
Good afternoon, fellow audience. Everyone in this hall here, as has been mentioned earlier, this is the title that we intend to share with the audience here today. Okay, basically, we are all from Simeo Rexam, and I think most of you have been to Simeo Rexam in Penang. And we had a task to investigate about CER. So what our team did was we tried to develop an instrument so that we can investigate the usage of CER among the educators. So this is the whole research team, and basically what I intend to share here is the development and how we validated the instrument, and also explore how this particular tool can be used to access CER, modeling and 3D learning among educators. All right, so I will just briefly go through all these sections here. All right, I will just introduce some ideas about the introduction, the objectives, about a brief literature review, and then what was the theoretical framework we used, and then the methodology, and some findings, and then conclusions, discussion, recommendation, future directions, and the last is the references. Okay, so as we are all aware, that no doubt we are using a lot of STEM activities, STEM ideas and all that. So we are looking at the CER pedagogy now. So because we find that the CER is actually crucial for fostering critical thinking, inquiry and scientific literacy among the students. And of course, the down to earth, the teachers, they play a very important part, and they are the one who deliver the ideas to the students. So we came up with the idea that we want to develop an instrument so that we can try to investigate how CER is actually applied to these students. So this was our research objective. First was to develop and validate a measurement instrument assessing Malaysian STEM educators' understanding and implementation of these three CER, modeling and 3D learning, and then conduct a reliability and validity testing to ensure The instrument accurately measures educators' understanding of CER, modeling, and 3D learning. Some brief literature that we managed to cover up. Basically, we were looking at effective implementation because we know that we have done a lot of pedagogies, and then are those pedagogies effective or not, right? And then after that, we're also looking at the conceptual understanding and retention. That means when the teacher is teaching the students, are the students having a good conceptual shift in their ideas? And also, is there any retention among the students? So, and also, we are looking at students who engage in modeling activities. They have demonstrated improved conceptual retention and higher order thinking skills. And then, of course, the holistic understanding. So, we are now moving towards a holistic understanding where we want to produce students who can what they call it, compete globally and also share their ideas in outside the box. And the professional development activities. No doubt there has been a lot of professional development programs to enhance STEM instruction, but to assess the impact on teachers' instructional strategies still remains a challenge. And the effectiveness as well as the focus for these particular professional development activities basically depend on factors such as the duration, content, focus, and of course the follow-up and support. Many professional development activities in Malaysia basically focus on the theoretical knowledge rather than practical application. So after going through this literature, our team found out that we have to develop an instrument. No doubt we have a lot of instruments, but we want to look at CER. So to address this challenge, so we came up with an idea to develop this particular instrument, and then to access the students' conceptual understanding, the ability to engage in scientific reasoning, inquiry-based learning, and model-based thinking. So this is the theoretical framework that we have embedded into the instrument that we developed, because we find that all these ideas, the argumentation model, building scientific explanations, learner-centered approach, scientific modeling, 3D learning, core ideas, science and engineering practices, as well as cross-cutting concepts, they all align. They are parallel with the constructive learning theory, situated learning theory, as well as the educational change that we are all looking at. And the learning theory framework is actually grounded in the constructivist learning theory, and I think you're all aware what is that theory looking at. And that constructive learning theory, is the actually integration of CER, modeling, and 3D learning, which aligns with constructivist principles by emphasizing student-centered, inquiry-based learning experiences, and all these actually incorporates the STEM educational pedagogical frameworks, the 5E instructional model, NGSS 3D learning model, the integration of the core ideas, cross-cutting concepts, and science practices, model-based inquiry. So this is the development framework for the instrument. So we took this, we look at the CER 3D modeling, we find that it aligns with the constructive learning theory, which emphasizes student-centered learning-based learning experiences. And these three structure, they incorporate the 5E instructional model, 3D learning, and also there's integration of disciplinary core ideas, cross-cutting concepts, as well as the science practices. And the research design is we are fully employing quantitative research design, where we utilize survey research as the primary methodology and collecting data at a single point in time to analyze teachers' understanding and application of CER, modeling and 3D learning in their teaching practices. And this research design is actually structured into 3 phases. So the first phase was the instrument development process, where we went through a huge literature review that was focusing on the CER modeling and 3D learning. And from that literature, we managed to look up at 420 items. And then we want to take these 420 items, we want to cater to the 4 research objectives and 14 research questions that were already, the research objectives were already assigned to us. You see, so we want these 420 items to be embedded in the 4 research objectives. The RQ, we broke up after that. And the second phase was the instrument. These 420 items were actually administered to 5 panel of experts for inter-rater reliability to evaluate the instrument's clarity, reliability, and overall effectiveness. So the items that obtained a mean value more than 4 was retained, and we managed to eliminate 220 items. And the final phase, data collection and effect analysis were conducted for the remaining 200 items. And then we also constructed exploratory factor analysis using the principal component analysis, and eigenvalue we set more than 1. So this basically is the summary of the whole process, which took us about 8 months. And these are the findings. The KMNO findings was adequate. So looking at the sampling was adequate, and then the ballot test was parity was significant, and all of this data is actually summarized in the tables here, right? So we had the value for the KMNO from 0.81 to 0.90, so that means it was all acceptable, okay? And the ballot test of parity was significant, and this also actually confirmed that the correlation matrices are not identity matrices, and then they support the appropriateness for factor analysis. And then we had 40 constructs, and then to reduce the items, we look at the high community values were retained, and then because we want to reduce the items to 120 items, so we want to remove two more items from the 5 items that we came for each of the construct. So these are the basically research questions and the retained items, and we remove the 2 items, right? This is basically a lot of fundamental is involved here. Okay, these are the research questions, and then all the research questions and the items that were retained and were removed. Okay, I have to move on because I'm given the 5 minutes mark already. Okay, right? And then basically we had 14 research questions, and 1 construct is measured by 3 items. So the RQ for 1, 4, 9, 12, 13, and 16 have 3 items each. RQ of 3, 6, and 12 also had 3 items, and RQ 10, 11, and 18 also had 3 questions, and total items we had was 120 items. Okay, so these are the constructs for each of the RQs, right? These are the constructs. So like RQ1 had 1 construct, RQ2 had 3 constructs, right? So these are all constructs that we managed to look up, and total construct we had were all together 40 constructs. Okay, and the final validator instrument consists of 120 items, providing a comprehensive framework for evaluating STEM educators' understanding and application of these pedagogical approaches. So we also had a high Cronbach alpha value of 0.99, and we applied the PCA, the retention of items based on high commonalities, ensure that the final instrument accurately reflects educators' pedagogical practices. So these findings actually they align with the existing literature emphasizing that importance of evidence-based reasoning, conceptual visualization, and interdisciplinary learning in STEM education. So basically, this research idea supports the argument that structured professional development and targeted training can enhance teachers' ability to incorporate the STEM-based frameworks into their instruction effectively. And these are some recommendations. So for the professional development, we should have more regular training sessions, institutional support. Schools and educational institutions should provide necessary resources. Policy integration, policymakers should consider incorporating CER, modeling and 3D learning into national STEM. For the further research, future studies should investigate the long-term effects of these instructional strategies, and collaboration and networking, establish professional learning communities where educators can share best practices and experiences to enhance the effective integration of these methodologies. So future direction, we should have cross-national validation, right? And then second, link the instrument to students' achievement outcomes will provide insight into the instructional effectiveness. And finally, integrating the instrument into pre-service and in-service teacher education programs can support reflective practice, inform professional development, and align STEM pedagogy with contemporary educational frameworks. So these are the references. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Parvinder Singh Amar Singh. Now, let's hear the feedback from our experts.
Thank you so much. I would have to say that the instrument and measurement are top study to conduct, and your study was to validate measurement of CER in 3D learning and also as well as the 3D modeling, which is I found to be interesting. And would be very helpful if I could see whether the samples of the instrument has been used in the real classroom context and whether or not this instrument could be applied with in and outside the classroom context. Like STEM, you could learn outside of the classroom and in the garden, in the museum. How would this be used? That would be one of the interesting things to say. And what the educational levels of this specific instrument is designed for. And whether or not it is for broad or specific content area, or it is in general. And I have to agree that the cross-national validation policy for this instrument to be widely used across nation would be helpful to maximize the use of the instrument and also strengthen the outcome of the instrument that you could also use in designing further or developing further instrument to benefit the STEM education. I think I'm going to pass on to my colleague.
Thank you. I would like to add some, the instrument can be effectively used for evaluating the impact of professional development program and also informing the redesign of teacher education curricula in line with the 21st century science education like a frameworks. About the suggestion for the further development, maybe this instrument can be applied in different countries to examine its the reliability and cultural adaptability across diverse educational contexts. And the second, investigate how the implementation of CER and modeling and 3D learning correlate with student achievement and engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. But I'm not given the time to answer. Can I answer? No. All right. Okay. Thank you so much because I have most
Just
of the answers.
like a recommendation. Thank you.
Yeah. Because we actually have already used this instrument. So later my colleagues will be presenting their findings tomorrow and all that. So this is the first paper we are doing for the STEM Ed actually. Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Parvinder Singh Amar Singh. for introducing an instrument that assists key STEM pedagogies, including claim evidence reasoning or CER. Our next presenter, Wee Ling Tan from University Sains, Malaysia, will now take us on a deep dive into that very framework, CER. Her presentation, Integrating Claim Evidence Reasoning or CER into STEM lesson planning, qualitative, analyzes how pre-service teachers apply this method and reviews that fostering student-led reasoning is a critical and often challenging the final step. Please welcome Ms. Wee Ling Tan. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon to everybody. I'm very happy to present my paper here. Okay, I'm Wee Ling Tan from University Science Malaysia. So today I'm here to explain my title about my paper about integrating claim evidence reasoning (CER) into STEM lesson planning, a qualitative analysis of pre-service teacher design. Okay, first of all, what we know about CER, claim evidence reasoning. So this claim evidence reasoning, we call it CER, has emerged as a powerful pedagogical tool in STEM education. So this CER framework provides a structural model that helps the student construct a scientific explanation by making a claim, support it with the appropriate evidence, and link it through the logical reasoning. So we have the CER, claim evidence reasoning. And it provides, this process not only deepens the student understanding on the scientific concept, but also cultivate the ability to engage in the structural argumentation and critical dialogue, what we can see from the CER framework. Okay. And what we found is this CER is aligned strongly with the 21st century classroom. It supports the critical thinking, inquiry, collaboration, and problem solving. Okay, what we can see, these skills are increasing emphasis in the modern educational framework and the global benchmark. Okay. Despite its challenge, okay, what we see that despite all the benefit offered by the CER, but however, the implementation of the CER in the classroom still remain inconsistent. As we know that a lot of studies have pointed several challenges like the rigid curriculum requirement, the limited teacher training, and the time constraint. All these barriers restrict the opportunity for the open-ended student reasoning and argumentation. Okay, and this challenge, we found that, especially in the pre-service teacher, most of these pre-service teachers found that they have difficulty in align to CER, claim evidence reasoning, with the teaching goals and design the activity. There are support evidence-based reasoning. Okay, and this limited experience already limit them, and they often lead to the surface level use of CER rather than a deep inquiry-driven pedagogy. So, in addition, we also see that there is a gap in the Southeast Asia context. And we found that our Southeast Asia context is, the education context is shaped by the centrally controlled curriculum. And we also emphasize on the master content lessons and also the exam-driven culture. All this already limit the student to adopt the inquiry-based student standard approach like CER. So, This study we're going to explore the pre-service teacher, how this pre-service teacher from a program, a Southeast Asia teacher education program, integrate the CER framework into their lesson plan. So in this research, we're going to provide a localized insight how the CER claim evidence reasoning framework can be effectively adopted into the teacher training program in Southeast Asia. Okay, and now here we were sure asking why it focused on the Southeast Asia, because we found that most of the CER study are successfully in Western educational context, where in the Western education context, we found that they are equally friendly curricula. And in addition to that, we found that limited research explore how CER, I believe that CER is conceptualized and implemented by pre-service teacher in Southeast Asia. Then, because why Southeast Asia? Also, all the Southeast Asia classroom, mostly all the Southeast Asia classroom, often emphasize content mastery, rigid syllabus, teacher-led instruction, all this limited student-driven reasoning, and lead to the less application of the CER, claim, evidence, reasonings framework being applied in the classroom. Okay, we found that, since pre-service teachers is our future teachers actually lack of experience in class-footing open-ended scientific argumentation. They are lacking evidence, they are lacking experience, how to guide our students in doing the argumentation, scientific argumentation. And also, feel that, we are less study, investigate lesson planning as a site for CER integration and pedagogical decision making in this regional context. So then there is a need to understand how our future educator in the break adapt and apply CER in the diverse STEM domain. This study, so that's why in this study, was driven by a central research question: how does CER affect the teaching style and the lesson plan of the participant? So to address this, I collected qualitative data in the form of 18 written lesson plan. So these 18 lesson plans are produced by the pre-service teachers participating in the Southeast Asia Teacher Education Program. So with a focus on integrating CER into the science and mathematics instruction. So the data was analyzed using the content analysis and thematic coding. I adopted a deductive approach based on the established CER literature by McNeil and Critchett, and also Sampson Grom. Specifically, I looked into how the claim, evidence, and reasoning, these three components were incorporated into the structure of the lessons through the lesson plan. So in addition to identify the presence of CER component, the analysis also considered the instructional strategy aligned with the learning objective and how much autonomy students were given in constructing the reasoning. Now I'm going to discuss about my result. I analyzed 18 lesson plans, 11 for mathematics and 7 from science, designed by the pre-service teacher in the Southeast Asia Teacher Education Program. So overall, the CER framework was clearly present across all 18 lesson plans, with a strong implementation of claim and evidence. However, the reasoning component was often guided or provided by teacher with the limited student-generated input. So now we can see that the max. In the max lesson plan, so in the max lesson plan based on 11 max lesson plan I got, so the lesson plans were precise and procedural. For example, topics such as improper fraction, estimation, and algebra were supported well using the real-world context like shopping and hands-on material like fraction circle. The claim component was correct and aligned to the learning goal. The evidence component was effectively provided, but yet come to the reasoning component. Usually is the teacher center and supported with the guided prompt. So that means that in the lesson plans, teachers have to use the certain prompt to guide the student. Okay. In the other way, we say that you can see in the science lesson plan. In contrast, the science lesson plan were more open to inquiry. Teacher create the claim and around the classification of animals, function of the body system, or ecology, or the ecological interaction. The evidence part, science teacher always use the diagram, photo, or the group classification task. The reasoning part was rich in the content, but still we can see that teacher still control the overall lesson rather than they're constructed by the student through the independent thinking. Okay, so next we're going to see that, okay, doing the cross-subject comparison. Okay, we see that overall the lesson plan for the size, for the max lesson plan are more structured and procedural, and the size lesson plan are more inquiry-based element. But however, both of the size and max lesson plan showing that low student autonomy in the reasoning. All this we can find through the lesson plan. So the key challenge in the CER framework implementation in the classroom, okay, most of them, teachers are very weak in reasoning. Teachers are pre-service teacher. All these pre-service teachers are still weak in giving the reasoning part, in guiding the student, okay? And lack of student agency in constructing the CER response. And also we found that time constraint and the curriculum pacing affect the depth of the student, affect the depth of the teacher in guiding them in applying further up in the reasoning part. So in here we found that CER used as a structure need, but not as the student-led inquiry tools. So teacher use them as a structure to guide them in doing their lesson plan. But actually we must use the CER framework as the student-led inquiry tools. Let the student have the C, claim, evidence, and reasonings. Okay, and we found that through the lesson plans in the study is the preference for teacher-centered instruction from the olden day until now. Student, the pre-service teachers still maintain in teacher-centered instruction, and all these pre-service teacher inexperienced in facilitating open-ended dialogue or debate. Okay, even though pre-service teacher, our future teachers still have the dilemma, still have the problem in facilitate how the open-ended dialogue, critical dialogue with the student. So the key implementation for the study, for the research is pre-service teacher, actually they understand CER conceptually. They implement the claim component, evidence component well. But how about the reasoning component? They still remain undeveloped. Okay, often teachers structure. So we hear that teacher education must provide a scaffolded training in reasoning. Teacher, pre-service teacher had to be trained how to giving the appropriate, critical, okay, in doing the reasoning. And also encourage the student autonomy and argumentation. We hope that through the teacher training, teacher will giving more opportunity in guiding, in doing the scientific argumentation with the student. and also adapt the CER to fit the Southeast Asia classroom in reality. Okay. So the key implementation, okay, conclusion. So conclusion is the pre-service teacher effectively incorporated the claim evidence in the lesson planning in my study. Reasonings were present but often guided or supplied by the teachers, limited student autonomy. Lesson plan demonstrated conceptual understanding of CER, but lack of depth in promoting teacher-student-led argumentation. So my mathematics lessons were procedural and visual. Science lesson plan are more inquiry based but still teacher-centered. So implementation of CER was shaped by the curriculum constraint. So that means they're limited by curriculum constraint, time, exam culture, and the teacher standard norm common in the Southeast Asia. So professional development is needed to scaffold reasoning skill and shift to student-centered CER instruction. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wheelington. Now let's hear the feedback from our esteemed expert.
Thank you. Thank you for your informative presentation. And maybe not the question, but maybe you can reflect after when we go to the stage. And you collect data from the Southeast Asia Teacher Education Program. Teacher,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And from the 18 lesson plan.
Yes.
It means that one teacher, one lesson plan.
Yeah. One teacher, one lesson plan.
Okay, thank you. And for the application, this study I think provide a practical guide for designing STEM education or STEM lesson plan aligned with the 21st century, or maybe aligned with your education policy in your country. And the second is support the development of training program both pre-service and in-service teacher in applying CER framework effectively. Before I come to this event, I'm hardly hear about the CER, but from learning from two research about the CER, I think it's very interesting and can apply in the future. The finding offer a framework for promoting student scientific reasoning, explanation skill, and the use of evidence to support claim that you mentioned about the science lesson, the tangible example. You mean maybe you give more example about the pictures, about the data that you mentioned before in the presentation. It serves as empirical evidence for educational policy maker and school leader in planning targeted teacher professional development. For the further development, my suggestions are maybe it can develop like a training module or teacher guide that demonstrates how to effectively integrate the CER framework into math and science instruction. Second, conduct longitudinal study to examine the real classroom impact, CER implementation on student learning outcome and engagement. And third, undertake cross-cultural or cross-country comparative study to analyze how contextual and cultural factors influence CER integration. Thank you. And I turn to my...
Hello, Wee Ling. I think I could use part of your research for my teacher education program, especially the scaffolding open-ended scientific argumentation. And I love to see that CER be used in lesson planning and also encourage active learning activities. And also this study is grounded on contemporary educational area where students' automation is encouraged and how teacher promoted CER. However, it would be evidence-based learning outcome if that is presented, which could strengthen the results of your study. of course, you have already conducted, but you just didn't have the time to show it on the screen. Would also the CER resulted differently in either technology or engineering classes or course? And I would love to see that tangible evidence of how each lesson plan being implemented and how students' outcome have developed accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the feedback from our expert, and also thank you, Ms. Wellington, for your analysis that shows the nuances of implementing a specific framework like CER. Our next presenter, Dr. Nachaya Somadetsakun, will expand on this theme by presenting a complete blended learning management platform for strategic educational management. Her research details the development of a highly effective platform that combines AI and activity-based learning to enhance the competencies of our future educational leaders, truly representing the nexus of innovation and leadership. Please welcome Dr. Nachaya Somadetsakun.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to see all of you today. The research title today is the Bangladesh Learning Management Platform for Strategic Educational Management using activity-based learning techniques and AI technology to enhance educational administrator competency. The research team and the objective. The topic of the presentation today the development of ICT systems and educational innovation has significantly contributed to the progress of nation. These systems are essential and beneficial for all organizations, particularly educational institution for all organizations, but particularly educational institution. Organizations that can effectively develop and implement ICT system, educational innovation, and AI technology will enhance their decision-making process in strategy planning. Therefore, it is crucial to identify and implement appropriate ICT system for educational organization. As a Minister of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation has set urgent policies and educational institutions to promote ICT development for educational innovation. This involves enhancing the ICT skills for all educational staff and students in using application, AI and education platforms. Educational institutions must also implement standardized ICT management systems to improve educational quality. In the era of educational interruption, teaching and learning must adapt to new learning paradigms for equip students for life skills and the ability to acquire knowledge independently. Activity-based learning focuses on developing skill and competency through practical learning experiences, encouraging students to explore, problem solve, analyze, synthesize, and internalize knowledge. The integration of ABL and AI technologies in educational can lead to personalized learning experiences, improve educational quality, and enhance learning outcomes. Strategic educational management is a mandatory seminar course in educational program at the graduate
level, focusing on educational policies, strategies, and the development of modern management processes. Traditional classroom-based instruction poses significant challenges for students without systematic digital platform and resources. Based on this concept, the researchers aim to develop a blended learning management platform for strategic educational management using combined ABL and AI technology to enhance educational administrator competency. The objective of the research is to develop a blended learning management platform on strategic educational management using activity-based learning techniques and AI technology to enhance educational administrator competencies. Second, to evaluate the efficiency of the blended learning management platform against 80 criterion. The third, to determine the effectiveness index and learning achievement with the blended learning management platform. And the last one, to study the opinions of experts and learners regarding learning with the blended learning management platform on strategic educational management. Literature review focus on AI technology and the characteristic of ABL that has 7 elements as follows. Emphasis on active participation. Second, focus on active activities. The third, promotion of skill development. The fourth, student-centered approach. The fifth, contextual and relevant learning. The sixth, emphasis on interaction and collaboration. And the last one is aim for deeper learning. Based on the review of relevant literature, documents, and research reports, the research team designed a research and development process by establishing a research framework, as in the photograph. The first one, study and analysis. The second, design and development. The third, usability, testing, and evaluation. And the fourth, platform refinements that lead to blended learning management platform for strategic educational management. The research methodology. Popular ensemble. The study population consisted of students enrolled in the Strategic Educational Management Seminar course within the Master of Education program at Ratchamangala University of Technology, Ratanakosin, academic year 2024. The sample group, comprising 57 students, was obtained through class random sampling from classroom group 1 and 2, with classroom at the sampling unit. The target group consisted of 10 educational innovation and technology experts, selected purposefully based on specified criteria. The research instrument include a learning achievement test and expert evaluation form for the platform quality, a questionnaire on learners' opinions regarding the platform, a structured interview form to assess the users and attitude regarding knowledge and application, behavior and response, participation and knowledge exchange, user results and attitudes, problems and suggestions, and the last instrument is a focus group interview guide for educational innovation and technology experts. The research procedure. This research follows a research and development approach consisting of 4 phases: Step 1, study and analysis; Step 2, design and development; Step 3, usability, testing, and evaluation. Step 4, platform refinements. About the development of instructional tools, include analyzing the curriculum and content of strategic educational management seminar along with educational administrator competency activities based on the teachers' council professional standards on Thailand. Defining learning objective to determine the scope of contents and activities for each learning unit. Determining the presentation format for content and modern educational administrator skill development activities. Creating a flowchart of the blended learning management platform to establish classroom communication channels. Designing a storyboard based on a hierarchical structure, incorporating activity-based learning techniques and AI technologies. Developing the platform using ARMS toolbox, Gen AL, and computer programs. Conducting a pilot test and making necessary adjustments to the platform. And evaluating the quality and efficiency of the blended learning management platform. And then we have the experiment data and collecting sites. The experiment and data collected took place at Ratchamangala University of Technology, Ratanakosin, Nakhon Pathom Province. The experiment preparation include obtaining permission for data collection and platform testing, uploading the developed platform to the PPLMS website and conducting preliminary tests and preparing the venue, computers, connection equipment, and scheduling the experiment in regular classrooms. The experiment was conducted by implementing the platform, which had been evaluated by experts to assess its effectiveness through the following experimental designs. The data analysis. The data contained from each research phase using statistical software. Platform quality evaluation by experts, including percentage average score and standard deviation derived from the test of each learning units and post-learning achievement scores. Finding the efficiency according to the 80/80 criteria. Finding the effectiveness index. Analyzing and comparing learning achievements before and after learning using t-test statistics. Analyzing the opinions of the learners regarding learning with platform by finding the average, standard deviation, and comparing the average with established criteria using a 5-level rating scale. The research results. Okay. The first one, platform efficiency evaluation. The efficiency evaluation of the developed platform based on the 80/80 criterion revealed an efficiency rating of 81.23, 82.46. This indicates that the platform facilitates an 81.23% learning process among students and demonstrates an 82.46% effectiveness in learning and behavioral change, meeting the established 80/80 criterion as per the research objective. The effectiveness index and learning achievement. The learning achievement assessment showed that the average P-learning score was 25.28 out of 40, while the average post-learning score was 34.89 out of 40. And the result of evaluation of effective of this research was based on the opinions of 10 experts. The overall qualify of the platform as perceived by expert was rating at the highest level. And the results of satisfaction assessment of the use of the model of the blended learning management platform on strategic educational management according to the opinions of 57 students show that the overall average knowledge of learners was at the highest level. These are the examples of the blended learning management platform. And the last one, conclusion, discussion and recommendation. Conclusion, the first, the research and development methodology employed following the defined steps resulted in an effective blended learning management platform for the course. The second, the efficiency of the developed platform was found to be 81.23, 82.46. The effectiveness index of the developed platform was 0.832H, indicating an 83.28% increase in score post-learning. Both qualitative and qualitative assessment of expert and learner opinions showed high satisfaction with the platform. Experts rated the overall platform quality as the highest, and learners rated contents and learning activities at the highest level. Discussion. Recommendation for implementation and development to ensure the platform's suitability and efficiency as well as its potential as a model of designing and creating modern learning media. The following recommendations are made. The platform content should align with the learning objectives of the course as outlined in the curriculum. Learning objectives for each learning unit should be clearly communicated to learners sequentially. The platform should feature a well-designed structure and learning pathway for assessing learning materials and mathematical exercises. Recommendation for future research. The blended learning management platform should be further developed to incorporate more elements that align with educational qualification standards, providing in-depth data for improving the effectiveness and efficiency of learning management. The platform should be implemented with learners in similar programs, and further research should be conducted to assess its efficiency and quality, thereby informing subsequent orientation of platform development. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Natchaya, for your presentation. Now let's hear from our experts once again.
Thank you for your nice presentation. I think nowadays we have a lot of platform, but your work is really interesting that related the platform to the leadership competency. Yeah, it's very interesting. And one more thing about your research, I like you use the R&D approach. Yeah.
Yes.
But if you can add more about the R1, D1, R2, D2, if you can clarify or add more.
Okay, thank you.
In the next step. And for the implication for practice, I think your research promote learner engagement through activity based learning, thereby enhancing competency in educational leadership. And the second, integrated AI to support learning analytics to provide personalized learning experience. This is really good to the individual learner. And then the platform can be adapted for professional development program for teacher and educational personnel. And for the comment for the further development, you also have in your presentation, but I would like to add more. The platform should be expanded to cover additional subject within graduate education program, because in your research is only one subject, right? For the graduate student, strategic educational management seminar.
Yeah, yes.
That you have a two section, but you choose only 57 students to like informant.
Yes.
And the second, for the further research, choose investigate the platform effectiveness among diverse learner group, and such as school teacher or educational administrator. This may be useful. And the next data analytic tool should be enhanced to include real-time feedback and individual learning report. Okay. And the last one, maybe you have like a comparative study should be conducted between this branded platform and traditional classroom based instruction to evaluate relative effectiveness. Thank you.
Hello. We all know that learning platform is limited to knowledge alone, but leadership is a skill that needs to be practiced over time. So I would love to see how skills like leadership skill could be demonstrated in learning management platform. If that could be done, that would be a new innovation in the AI learning as well as machine learning. Thank you.
ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you for the expertly feedback, and thank you for your presentation, Dr. Nachaya, for expanding insight on educational management and platforms. Our final presenter, Mr. Paisan Duangjak Na Ayutthaya from the University of Phayao, offers a compelling answer by cultivating foundational cognitive skills through media integrated pedagogy. He will showcase how combining popular films like The Martian and Avatar with real-time AI feedback creates a dynamic and effective learning environment. Please welcome Mr. Paisan Duangjak Na Ayutthaya.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to share with you a new approach to science education. Our present is titled Cultivating Foundational Cognitive Skill and Advancing Critical Thinking in Undergraduate through Media Integrated Pedagogy. Let me talk. Introduce. I'm physicist and lecturer at Phayao University and teach physics to some billion students in the knowledge of science. My responsibility work is to bend fundamental physics principles and real world application and keep things interested. The challenge in modern education, why do we need new way to learn science? The world is more complex and technology is changing rapidly. We need skills like critical thinking, not just memorization. Traditional teaching method may not be enough. Our approach in entertainment media and artificial intelligence integrated science theme film like Titan of War-E, The Martian, and avatars to make learning engaging and emotionally resonant. Use the artificial powered platform to provide real-time personalized feedback. Combine these elements to create seamless learning experience. Our research proposed a solution that combines the power of storytelling with the efficiency of technology. We integrate popular science theme multimedia such as this movie to make complex concepts more engaged and relatable. This is all supported by the artificial intelligence system that gives learner real-time feedback, make the learner process more seamless, personalized. Next step, I would like to share a little story about how we changed our science elective course. We used in the past we used have subject in science in daily life, which was popular, but we saw a change to make it even more relevant. My university academic years that have 3 terms, first semester, second and summer semester. The particular course began in the second semester 1922, but have since been often annually in both the first and second semester, but not during the summer semester. The results, we start only 20 learners, but at this semester we got 840 learners. Be increasing to see the high engagement. Next, I would like to share powerful learner idea from legendary physicist Richard Feynman. It's called chunking. This trick is to be able to explain each of their chunks in your our words so simply that anyone could understand. If cannot, it means you find gap in your knowledge and go back study in one piece and then explain it again. By doing this, you're not memorizing. You build a deep, solid understand piece by piece. Its method is work for anything you want to do and learn. And next, this is my vision of University of Phayao. Our learner journal is not memorizing. It's about building our 5C paths. Identify and living short name UV vision of creating wisdom for community. 1. Critical thinking and problem solving. 2. Critical and innovation. 3. Cross-culture understanding. 4. Collaboration. 5. Communication. And plus computer literacy. Next, we analyze issue evaluation, different solution beyond Bloom taxonomy. Science film more than entertainment. This film we shoot that more than entertainment, where it provide powerful context to discuss environmental ethics and the consciousness of consumery. The Martian is great example for applied problem solving, show how science is used to survive. Avatar offer a rich entire point to explore the intersection of ecology, ethics, and technology. How artificial support. In our study, AI is not just simply automation tool. It acts as cognition collaboration. The AI power platform provide learner with real-time feedback, helping them understand when are their learning journey. The feedback also alignment Bloom taxonomy encourage learning progress from basically called to more complex critical thinking. Today, learner need critical thinking skill, technological fully, and interdisciplinary ability. Notice how critical thinking requirements have jumped for just 35% to 80 emphasis. This is not just knowledge fact anymore. That's about develop complex cognitive skill. The gap between what we traditional truths and what learner actually need is style. Rapid technological change demand continuous adaptation of our teaching approach. This is we need innovating solutions that go beyond conventional method to prepare learner for our complex interconnect worlds. And next, improve skill. Why we show significant improve? The result of our study were very encouraged. We saw a significant improve in several key areas. For example, in activity related, Title 1E, learner ability to identity, scientific case, and effect relationship. Increased for 43% to 79%. We also a boost in memory recall. What over 85% learner correctly explain key scientific concept form the title in Martian. Most importantly, learner writing reflex that showed they're moving toward higher order critical thinking. This is a flow chart, one of model in the agentic AI to recall name graph R1 agent. Step 1, understand the question. Graph R1 agent receive a question, for example, who the spawn of direction. Step 2, build the query, knowledge, hypergraph. 3, multi-turn, interaction and refine, sorting. The agent now have a piece of the puzzle but not final answer. It think again, realize next step. Step 4, generalize the answer. After the secondary knowledge, the agent return the answer. The agent have information it needs that perform understood the question general, the answer optimization use reinforcement learning to be as accurate, efficiency as possible. And the flow chart to full system to the collaborate of learner. Step 1, use search question and initiate state. Step 2, the think and query cycle. Step 3, retrieval knowledge and deciding the next action. Step 4, answering and receiving to reward. That is show impact the cognitive skill development. Observation skill show the more dramatic improvement. 36 includes increasing of student or learner ability to identify cause-effect relationship. Memory recall improves significantly with 85% of learner correctly explain complex scientific concept. Critical thinking skill advanced as learner move from base recall analysis and evaluation on Bloom taxonomy. In my use case, to show first group, to show learner in medical, they typically dedicate higher motivation by a strong disease to help other the patient of science. The learner style blend of theoretical knowledge, both academic rigorous and provide extensive hand-on experience. Often goes problem solving, apply critical thinking to complex. Second group, learner in this field focus on technology programming, logical problem solving. That call interested like in development software and creating algorithm and understood complex system. This group is higher independent learner. Third group emphasize field in sociology, political science and law. This group focus on understand human behavior, social structure, historical context and legal framework. This group excellent leader, writer and communication often skill to research, analysis and debate. That next, the role of AI feedback. The AI feedback loop a key factor in success. Our data log show over third of learner 68% use the resubmission feature after getting feedback from AI. Remarkable 91% improve that perform in this attempt. The highlight have timely specific feedback combine opportunity for revision, can release help learner develop goal, mindset and improve self-regulation skill. That same slide. This is a key learner outcome, media integration. We bring include two main of assignment, formative and summative. In the short term, formative assignment as like a check-up during the journey. With summative assignment, a final evaluation or at destination use both complete learner progress and achievement. The importance of period knowledge. The learner with foundation side background show deeply engagement and higher achievement. Learner with outside background still show growth, especially ethical listener. This show a need differentiate instruction strategy to support learner. Interdisciplinary learner with avatar for lasting interdisciplinary dialogue. A great example of the interdisciplinary learner was the film. Why learner analysis the ecological system and technology learner from other background offer valuable insight on things like colony and culture subsidiary. This show how narrative media can act as powerful bridge between differentiate field study, foresting a rich and more comprehensive discussion. Based on our finder, we have few recommendations of educator we want to adopt that approach. First is crucial differentiate instructor based on learner period knowledge. Strategy to bridge differentiate discipline, make sure include effect and ethical analysis and curriculum. And the last one, conclusion, the future design learner combine artificial intelligence and science, theme, film, create transformation learning experience. It promote fundamental knowledge, critical thinking and interdisciplinary understanding. This approach helps demonstrate science learning and giving learning opportunity be success. Thank you for your highly attention.
Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Paisan. Now next to our experts for the feedback for this research. Thank you.
Hello, Ajahn Paisan. Physics is the field I have limited knowledge about, so it would take quite a long time for me to understand. However, the context of your study is science, and I found that there is a commonality that I could relate, like movies and media.
Yes.
And these I could comprehend easily. Since I think the students also agree with me that using movies are fun and is a form of entertainment. And I saw that you used the feminine technique explain the simple words, identify gaps, and add analogies and diagrams. So simply put, the make invisible visible. And this I learned 20 years ago. And I like the integration and blendability between the science subject and entertainment, which could encourage students' experiences and create positive learning environment within science subjects and content. And the 3 movies presented that you show the student, would it be better comparing to traditional techniques, traditional teaching and learning, and should it a main focus or main integral part of teaching or just the supplementary? All 3 movies, could that be encouraging to students to study on their own and then they demonstrate such skill according to the movies they watch that you show on the spider web? Would that presented according to the students' ability to digest the movies themselves or because of other factors? And I would think it's interesting to see that such teaching and learning techniques can yield satisfactory results. And what's shown on the spider web, there are key components of successful learners in the future. So if this could be applied in other classes, that would be very nice to see whether or not all the students could yield such satisfactory results. Now pass on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Like my student, they would love to see the movie. Sometimes I ask them, you would like to listen to my lecture or see the movie? Most of them
Of course.
would like to see the movie more than listen to me. Okay, I just add a little bit about the further development. At first, maybe, I don't know why Ajahn choose the 3 movie. Is your favorite?
Because the basically of scientific concept.
Okay,
And
but
next level intensive physics or disciplinary science.
Okay, so maybe you can include narrative from non-Western context and locally relevant film to support the inclusive in culturally responsive teaching. Maybe, but I think in like a local scientific movie is difficult to find, right? And the last one is you can develop AI system that facilitate group work analysis. Or peer feedback or team-based learning in hybrid or fully online classroom.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
all
you
my
once again.
recommendation.
Thank you for your expert feedback and thank you for Mr. Paisan, and a very big thank you to all the 8 presenters for taking us on this comprehensive journey from policy to pedagogy to platforms. And now I would like to invite all of our presenters and our esteemed experts, Dr. Phương Arun and Dr. Nonglak, to please come forward and take a seat at the front for our concluding panel discussion. Please, all the presenters, you are welcome on the stage, all the 8 presenters, and now we'll go for the concluding discussion, the last segment of our session. Okay, now we will turn to the insightful questions. So we have collected from you all, and then we would like to ask our panelists to maybe share your insights or thought about this question. Since we are here for the quite a broad policy making, so the first question is that many of you presented the compelling findings and powerful new models. The next logical step is that the most challenging thing is that turning the research into a reality. So my first question is this: to concretely implement your research findings, who do you believe are the key stakeholders that should be involved? And what is the first step that should be taken? Okay, the question once again: to concretely implement your research findings, who do you think or believe that are the key stakeholders that should be involved, and what is the first step that should be taken?
Would you like to answer?
And feel free to build on the from your friend's idea. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, moderator. Okay. For us in Malaysia, when we look at it, the key stakeholders are basically the higher order authorities, those who are involved with this Ministry of Education at the higher level, right? And basically, the Ministry of Education, they have the hierarchy, right? The curriculum planners, the curriculum implementers, right? At that higher level, I mean, they should be involved in what we have disseminated over here. And the first stage that can be done is actually this platform, this what they call it, this dissemination of ideas should be presented to them. You see, or maybe at that organizational level, that higher level, they should have a kind of a conference or what they call it, dissemination of the research findings at that level. You see, so that is what I would like to share over here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so for me, we have different stakeholders in plan. We believe in the partnership between public and private sector. So for example, there is the National Innovation Agency, which we have a meeting with them today, for example, or the DIPA is called here in Thailand, the TED Fund. And yeah, we also have in mind stakeholders at Chulalongkorn, because many of the students look up to that goal. So to make it reachable to everyone and not just people that they can afford private tutors, because as we have seen, when people aim for some universities, if they cannot afford private tutoring, it's really, really difficult to access these universities. So this combination of public institutions and private working together.
Thank you. Anyone wants to build? Yes, please.
Yeah, for me, since my study is focusing on madrasa education, and I think for the madrasa education in our country to be recognized by the national level, I think the policymakers should take the first step to reach out to the national level, and then the national level could collaborate with the regional level, and the regional level could reach the madrasa administrators to see what is really happening in the ground.
Okay, actually I agree with others presenter. Actually, what we start is with the national level, because we know that without any decision from national level, the teachers in any institution can't do anything. So with the decision for the national level, sure all the things can be done, carry out.
In my stakeholder, in the first main vision of university, lifelong learning environment and transformation knowledge. When we see our learner asked to be something basically of science, and I talk to develop and knowledge to contribute another field of science to my learner.
For my research, because of like now we have students more than 50% in this semester. Yes, more than the last semester. I still think about I'm gonna use this approach for them, and also maybe get through the high school students also like a demonstrate school to build up the scientific content with the flow, and also content marketing strategy is will be used for making the content to encourage them to study in the science. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any thoughts or opinion from our experts?
Actually, since I'm the university administrative in the office, it always comes down to just two things. Mainly, it's about financial support and human capitals. If these two cannot be supported, all the policy would be very difficult to move on. And of course, there are research, national levels, regional levels, and all kinds of levels. But all the levels need to have fundamental support from all the segments. Stakeholders are important, as well as the contribution of successful education is not just teachers alone. We have to listen to one of the most important person, which are students. These are the key person who contribute so much on the success of the education policy analysis, as well as policy formation.
Thank you. For me, I think about we have to adjust the education system that fit to the area, the community. I believe in area-based education because if the policy maker launch a policy but it's not aligned with the community need or the children in the area need, it's not good. I think it's waste for use the resources. So I'd like her. She talked about the private-public partnership. I think it's like a mechanism is very important. I think when we launch the education policy, we have to work together from the private and from the public, and also how to decide the cost, how to use the resources from the budget from the government, even the budget from the local organization. We can share the resources together, and we have to think about the goal of the education, like Muslim education. What is the goal? What is the belief of the community? Thank you.
Oh, thank you for all those insightful responses. I think the clear theme emerging from your responses is that the necessity of multi-stakeholder approach, so involving everyone from the grassroots educators and community leaders to the private sector. So this discussion from the first question is that it's perfect to bridge to our next question is that if you were to advance your research findings to the policy level, what factors do you believe are critical for the success of that initiative? So the question is, if you were to advance your research findings to the policy level, what factors do you believe are critical for the success of that initiative? Anyone would like to share? If you are about to use your research findings and then advance them into the the policy level, okay, what should be the first initiative, the critical success of that initiative? What would it be?
Actually, I'm gonna say like my subject actually includes in the program like material science first, polymer recycling, and now this subject around the students in the university to enroll as the elective course, and also I think that it will be improved or extend to the policy in the university. I think I need the PR like let the student know about the content more than the subject in their program. Also the science and non-science student can be study in this subject. And also maybe the next time I would like to change some content like more than the polymer. It may be other materials that we use in the daily life and could be touch the student to select this subject in the future.
Thank you. Anyone wants to build on that or any other opinion?
Yeah, I just would like to share, regarding the impact of the findings for the policy level, right? So I think the effect of the findings actually they should be able to contribute to the change of ideas that research has contributed, and these ideas are actually aligned with the new demands as well as the skills required in the authentic setting. That means whatever findings we have, are those findings bringing any changes, or are they aligned with what is required in the future, like the 21st century skills, and can this contribute to the development of the economic for that particular country that is moving towards a very positive direction. Thank you.
Thank you. So the critical factor is the alignment with the policy.
Okay,
right?
so yeah, I was thinking, I feel like the three main ones. Well, first one, I feel, be honest with the situation, because especially with English, we see how every year we are going down the ranking, and we know there is a problem, but no one knows how to actually fix it. And I feel like that's the first step, saying, okay, we are failing, how we fix it from here on. And then would be to integrate this blended learning into the national curriculum. That's the first step. Then to support this public-private partnership, like, okay, the government needs also this combination of the private system moves faster and how we can combine this help. And yeah, some universities, they already do it very good. And then the third one is fund digital equity initiatives. Like, okay, we cannot have in a rural schools maybe enough teachers, but maybe they can have a tablet. And that way it will bridge the gap between people that are not in Bangkok. So those three steps, I feel they are the most relevant ones.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I think I could address two. First is that in a policy maker concept, they should designing an inclusive policy in education is way much better, and yeah, it will accommodate all the needs of the society. Second one is that because madrasa education is always often seen as focusing on religious education, so I think it's time for madrasa administrators or madrasa education to include the innovative type of education. Thank you.
As the last one, so actually for me, I'm not going to change the policy, because all the while that when people heard that, oh, I'm going to change the policy to a new one, I'm sure a lot of people will feel, I don't want to change that. But for my research, I found that CER actually is not going to change the way the teacher teaching, but we add on to improve it, enhance it. Because we found that from what we see that teachers are already very good in doing the claim and evidence, but teachers still need a lot of improvement in reasoning. So we just make our policy become better. So I'm sure that all the educators will feel very happy because we are not changing the policy. You feel comfort with it already, but we make it more perfect. Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
In my experience, I'm last one. In my experience, in own name of elective science in daily life, the own traditional assessment like a multiple choice question, and I cannot development in my learner. I think this game of change to develop of speed of technology and data include multimedia or something like that. I evaluate of learner which and measure overall achievement like assessment summative. Yes.
Thank you.
I guess it comes down to us. For the critical factors for success, as I sum from all of our presenters here, but before I sum this up, I would add my own, since I have quite experiences in this area. The first thing first is the funding initiatives is one of the key factors. The secondly, educational policy that support the movement of the country, as well as the school teachers who actually have the tools and weapons in hands, like the add-on, like what we said, CER could be add-on weapon that the teachers could use, or AI as a powerful tool that we cannot avoid. And then the government research funds that should support all teachers, not just the university teachers, educators. And the collaborative effort between institutions, universities, schools, and public-private institutions. And then come down to all the presenters said, support from the mainstream education, not just the big school in the metropolitan only. And the impact of the policy levels to contribute to the ideas that align with the new demands of skilled and workforce demands and future skill, like you said, that economic policy and the directions that we are moving forward, moving and ahead should be considered. Otherwise, everything that we are building is going to collapse soon because there are no foundation that is relevant to what we need to go for heading to. And of course, the honest opinion of what our current situation is, what the students' performances are. If we cannot accept these truths and everything that we presented in the white paper is always the best, the students have no problems, perfect score, then we cannot accept that we need some change, and then change cannot happen. The paradigm will not shift. And lastly, the inclusive policy with the accommodation of all student needs should be collected and also presented in the policies making. And that, I think, part of me is done. I'll move to you.
Okay, for the idea that the presenters shared today, and also from my experiences, I think we have to think about, for the policy, we have to think about three words. First is an issue. What the issue of that policy, such as about the inequality, or the education that serve the economic aspect, or serve the sociology aspect, something like that. And second, who? When I do a research, I always recommend who will do this. For example, about the inequality, the stakeholder, okay, the Ministry of Education, the private, the public, the local organization, the family, the parents, the enterprise in the area who would like to, each party, what they have to do. Maybe the Ministry of Education have to fund and have to like manage the platform or organize something, and the parent, what parent should do, what the local organization should do. And the third word is about when. When the first step is very difficult. When we have to start this policy, and after the first step, who will follow the first step? And the last thing I think is about, we have many policy, but it's not success because we always launch a new policy, but we don't follow. We don't like a new party, new policy, new party, new policy. It's never, hardly to see the policy that success.
Okay, thank you for insightful and marvelous opinion from our panelists. I think since we have limited of time, this will be the last question. Okay, the last question is, what recommendations do you have for formulating successful and forward-looking education policies in Thailand or in your countries? So now it's not narrowed down to your research. If you can give the recommendation to the government, the recommendation that you think will formulate successful and forward-looking education policies in your country.
This one is hard to answer because what came to my mind is like, is it even possible right now with the situation? I mean, yeah, the political situation is difficult, and I feel it's important the first step to be honest. And I feel that's challenging because it implies that we have done things that are not right. Maybe there are things that need to improve, and that thing touches the ego, and it's difficult in policy, government-wise. And then I would say include students, include teachers, include schools, universities, because I feel there is just one side. They just usually men in the office that decides what's need to be done, and it's very centered around Bangkok, and it doesn't apply to the majority of Thai people. So it would be like have stakeholders that brings different points of views. I feel sometimes when there is a meeting, everyone has to think the same thing, because confrontation, we don't like this thing. Anyone likes that. And I feel like bringing different points of view, that's very valuable, and especially for policy making. So yeah, like everyone has a voice. I think that would be the most important thing, especially nowadays. But I feel it's very challenging. But yeah.
Thank you. Is this for Thailand context or Thailand context? Okay, thank you.
For me, I'm not sure whether it's for Thailand. I'm sure it's worldwide question. So because this one, we involve the policy change, the successful of policy, sure everything come from money. Enough fund, because we involve a lot of party. So with enough funding, granting, we have a lot of training going on, a lot of module writing. All this we need fund to do it. So for me, I think it's not only in Thailand, in Malaysia also.
Thank you.
Yeah, to add on what had been mentioned by the other speakers here, I mean, what recommendations that can be recommended is actually there should be flexibility. You see, so whenever a curriculum is developed, so there should be some flexibility in that curriculum to bring in new ideas as well as adaptability. That means the ideas can be adapted within the context, right? Because each country has their own environment and their context is different. So there should be adaptability, and of course the implementation, the monitoring of implementation must also be there. You see, so if we just recommend ideas and then after that, that's it, we put a full stop, and there is no any follow up. You see, so the effects, we wouldn't know what are the effects, and then always we keep on changing new ideas, but there should be a continuum of what has been started and the end, and then of course this can be monitored through a very good monitoring system and all that. Thank you.
Allow me to copy paste some points from previous speaker. I think, yeah, to implement such a kind of policy, before designing a policy, I think policymakers should also implement the so-called inclusivity, consultation with the not just the designer, not just the actors, but also the recipients of the policy that is being implemented, so that the micro problems could be addressed. Thank you.
In my opinion, I stay in Thailand under Asian University Network Quality Excellence. One purpose is system quality excellence accreditation of academic program higher education institute in Asia region, which my friend looking for a career path relate to nickname AUNQA for responsibility support the assessment process, providing guideline to university and assistant with assignment related strategy and management. To excellent communication skill particular for my learner or my people or my country. Thank you.
In my opinion, I think that we have to apply the policies into the practice, right? Because as my experience, I still think about we have to improve some facility for our students. If we to develop the skill like hands-on. But right now we don't have the observations like the conditions of the instruments or the space for students to practice. So that's why I think that we have to think about the foundation for teacher or educator to research about the classroom research to observe the student intention or learning behavior. That's it.
Okay, thank you. My recommendation, I think for Thailand, we have enough information. We do a lot of research about the education. And the second, I think we have enough experts, especially expert for education. We have a lot, and also the expert from the foreign country. We have a connection. Even the international organization that work in Thailand. Why the education in Thailand is not success, and I think from my experience, I think is a lack of mechanism. We have everything, but we don't have, I think, good mechanism to drive the education system in Thailand. And the second thing is the leader. Who will lead the mechanism, who can drive mechanism and pull the expert and pull the knowledge and pull everything that can solve the problem of Thailand education. I think is my recommendation. For the information about education, I think we have, if we look from the system approach, from the input side, we have the enough information about student, about the parent, and we know some the article from the presenter, the first presenter about the socio-economy of the family. I think we have enough information, and for the parent, and if in the process side, the teaching and learning, now we adjust the AI or blended learning to solve the problem that students everywhere can learn. From the basic education to the higher education, or even the lifelong learning. And for the last thing is output. Output, for the presenter, they show that the output, the achievement, education achievement is not good. Even the English proficiency is not good enough. Even we invest in a lot of money in our education system. So I think we have enough information. The only thing is the mechanism and who will lead this mechanism to solve the education system in Thailand.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have to agree with the mechanism, but I would love to add more a little bit on that everyone here is not in the policy making stage. We are at maybe the lowest level. We're just a practitioner. We just receive all the policies from the government and we practice based on what they have entered. With that said, to provide such policy recommendations, we could imagine anything. But if it's coming to practice, that is beyond imagination because we never know what's going to be practiced or applied in real life, especially at the national level, since neither of us experienced one. Or have you ever been elected as once? Nope. See, with that, we could only use the global policy and apply what we hated towards like SDG 4. I would conclude in 3 words: equality, empowerment of learners, and ethically in both policy making and within educational context. If we could do 3 things, I think this very simple. And we need a mechanism or some people who force it to happen. And that would conclude my policy recommendation.
Wow. Thank you for all the panelists and insightful and thought-provoking responses. And that should be our time for today as our time draws to a close. Please join me in a final heartfelt round of applause for our distinguished guests and experts and all of the brilliant researchers for sharing their work and vision with us today. Okay. I also wish to thank our wonderful audience here in Asawin Hotel and both in this room and online for your active participation and thoughtful questions. Before you leave, please remember to provide your feedback on this session by scanning the QR code. I think should be at the passport. You can scan, and once you scanned, do the assessment form located at the back of the conference of the passport, and then you can, after completing this evaluation form, because it's necessary to receive your e-certificate of the participation. Okay, once again, thank you. This concludes our session and on reimagining education, and thank you, and please enjoy the remainder of the conference. Thank you once again. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, yes, we are going to have the group photo.